Welcome back to the Growth and Gratitude podcast. Today's topic is one that I am especially passionate about, and that is mindfulness. But let's start with gratitude. I'll start by sharing three things that I'm grateful for, and then I turn it over to you to either say in your mind or out loud three things that you are grateful for. First, I'm incredibly grateful for the MMTCP, the Mindfulness Meditation Teacher Certification Program. I've completed my first year. I'm now in my second year. It's with Tara Brach and Jack Kornfield. They are phenomenal, and I'm learning so much. And I've deepened my own practice in mindfulness and meditation in ways that I never imagined I could. I'm so grateful for the program. My second statement of gratitude is for my peers in the program. I'm in a small cohort of incredible human beings who are teaching me so much and who are uplifting me and giving me incredible feedback and support. And the way that this program is structured and the way our cohort has bonded and gelled together and become a true learning community, I'm so grateful for my peers in my cohort of fellow students in this training program. And finally, I'm very grateful that this program, the MMTCP, requires me to actually teach, not just to learn about teaching. So I'm teaching my first course, which I'm so excited about, in April. I want to invite you to that course. It's going to be every Saturday in April. The title of the course is An Introduction to Mindfulness Meditation, and it's just 1 hour for 4 Saturdays in a row. All the Saturdays in April, so that's easy to remember, from 11 to 12, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. if you're on the West Coast Pacific time, and it's, of course, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, Eastern time. Please join me. If you can make it for all four, that's best because they'll all be different and each will build on the last. But if you could only make it for one or two, I welcome you to do that. I would just love for you to show up. If you have any questions about that, email me anytime at Bridget@SampsonCoachingandConsulting.com. The Eventbrite invitation to that course will be in the show notes in the description below here, wherever you're listening or watching, and it's free. I wanted to just offer this in the world as a way of expressing my gratitude again for how blessed I am to have learned so much in this program and been given so many gifts and tools and resources to help me in my life through this training. Moving on to our growth topic for the day, which is, of course, mindfulness. I want to cover three areas briefly. So first, a little defining of mindfulness from me and some wonderful, amazing teachers in the field of mindfulness. And then I want to talk about what are some of the benefits, and then how can we use it as a superpower, making it your superpower in daily life. One of the most well-known names you may have heard of in the mindfulness world is John Kabat-Zinn. He created the original programs on mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, which is becoming more and more popular, but has been around for quite a while and has been proven incredibly successful for stress reduction. His definition of mindfulness is this: mindfulness is the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally, in the service of self-understanding and wisdom. I think that's a beautiful description. I'm also reading a book called Mindfulness. I'll show you in case you're watching. Mindfulness, A Practical Guide to Awakening by Joseph Goldstein, another big name in the world of mindfulness and meditation. And he says it is this capacity of the mind to be present, to be aware of what is happening. And it's gaining widespread credibility and interest. Many, many studies are happening. So that's according to Joseph Goldstein. So what mindfulness is to me is being fully awake and aware of what's happening in this moment right now. It's being fully aware of and present with everything that you're taking in through your senses. Are you touching something? Are you seeing something, hearing something, tasting something, smelling something, and being really, really in tune with that and in touch with that? And it's also being fully awake and aware of what's happening inside of you. What are you feeling? Are you feeling sad, upset, happy, neutral, calm, anxious? It's that full present moment awareness of what's going on in the internal world and the external world. That is being mindful. A really simple example that I think everybody can relate to is our mindfulness or mindlessness with food. We've all had both experiences. How many times have you eaten a meal or a snack and you ate it so quickly and mindlessly that after you thought, oh my goodness, I didn't even enjoy that. I didn't even really take in all the tastes and flavors and textures of what I was eating. I was in a rush getting ready for something else, or I was distracted, or I was scrolling on my phone. And now I want to eat something else because I didn't really have the full experience of eating whatever it was and enjoying it and fully savoring it. You've had that experience. I have had it more often and still have it more often than I would care to admit. That is eating mindlessly. So this is one of the greatest opportunities to practice mindfulness in our lives because we eat every day. Most of us do. Eating mindfully, if you've had this experience, is eating slowly, chewing slowly, really paying attention to all of the flavors. It's not eating with the TV on or with your phone in front of you, looking at funny videos. Ideally, it's alone and in silence. I know we can only do this once in a while, but a mindful meal occasionally can be a beautiful experience. This is what we get to experience when we go on silent meditation retreat, and it is a beautiful moment when you can just really savor your food mindfully. I couldn't believe how much more full I felt. I couldn't believe how much more I could taste the food and enjoy the food and take my time with every bite. Try mindful eating as one simple way to recognize the difference between mindfulness and mindlessness, or just doing things in a distracted way where your mind is not really fully present and awake. So that is a very brief explanation of what mindfulness is with one example, food, and we can practice it in every area, almost every area of daily life. We don't need to necessarily be alone or be in silence. We can be even in a stressful situation and still be making sure that we're fully awake and aware in the moment and making our choices mindfully as we deal with even some of the most difficult situations. Now, too, I just want to briefly mention some of the benefits, and you've probably already heard some of these. Much research is coming out about the health benefits of practicing mindfulness. It has been proven that practicing mindfulness regularly and living a more mindful life can help with reducing anxiety, preventing and managing depression. It can lower blood pressure and other stress-related physical disorders. It can help with anxiety and stress and difficult situations. It can help us feel more calm and peaceful, more in control of the situations that we face in our lives. It can help physiologically, emotionally, mentally. It's fantastic training for the mind, not to be distracted. We know that attention spans have been shrinking over time, and practicing mindfulness helps us to grow our attention span, our concentration, our focus, because we're learning to be present in the moment and to tune out all of the distractions that don't really need our attention. A really fun example I want to share with you is from Joseph Goldstein's book, Mindfulness, and he talks about a program that taught mindfulness in schools to second graders, and they got to learn how to be more mindful. And this is what some of the second graders said that the benefits were. Mindfulness helps me get better grades. Mindfulness helps me calm down when I get upset. It also helps me with sports and helps me to go to sleep at night. Thank you for teaching mindfulness. Mindfulness changed my life. Mindfulness really gets me calm. Mindfulness is the best thing I have done in my life. I love mindfulness. Those are direct quotes from second graders after participating in a school program on mindfulness for kids. So the last question I want to answer for you is, how the heck do I use mindfulness in my daily life as a superpower? Well, I personally believe, especially after completing a full year in the mindfulness meditation teacher certification program, that mindfulness is one of our greatest superpowers if we choose to use it. Start by just being mindful, focusing on being mindful in the day-to-day experiences that you have. When you're walking outside, just like eating, have you ever gone for a walk and you get back and, oh, I was just worrying about work, or I was listening to a podcast and I wasn't really being mindful. So, how about a mindful walk where you look at the trees, you really take in the colors of nature, where you're just present with everything you're seeing, petting your pet if you have a pet, really paying attention to what does their fur feel like? Emotion is stirred in you when that pet looks deeply into your eyes with unconditional love. So many moments throughout the day that we can practice mindfulness, washing our hands and really feeling the deliciousness of the warm water and the soaps and the shower, and really taking care with our body to cleanse it and nurture it. Mindful moments throughout the day, again, are this training for the mind, this calming, this centering, this grounding. And then the harder part, but what you can move into trying, is in difficult situations, situations where maybe you find yourself angry or frustrated or bored or lonely or upset for any reason. Can you bring mindfulness to that as your superpower in helping you to recognize what's going on for you and why it's happening? This kind of mindfulness can allow us to gain much more insight. That's why mindfulness meditation practices are also called insight meditation practices, because it's that slowing down, that quieting, that full presence to what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? What's triggering this? What's being stirred in me? Remember, non judgmentally, no judgment, no self criticism. And in that moment, not even trying to interfere or change it, but just to be present with it, to develop this insight and understand it. So, mindfulness allows us to ask ourselves, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's happening for me? Why? What am I thinking about doing? Am I wanting to lash out? Am I wanting to react or respond in some kind of strong way that I might regret later? That might not be the most skillful, wise, compassionate response in this moment. That slowing down of mindfulness allows us to respond to the challenges of our lives more intentionally. So, this is why it's an incredible superpower. So, maybe you're at a meeting at work and somebody says something that just seems really upsetting to you. Be mindful. What's your reaction? Why are you feeling that way? Does it really have anything to do with that person? Or is it because you didn't sleep well last night? Mindfulness allows us to really reflect. Again, no judgment on self or others, but just that reflection, that time, that skipping a beat before acting or reacting to really see what's going on internally and see what's going on externally. Sometimes we're upset because the lights are too bright and we have a headache, or there's something else going on, or that person said something that reminded you of something someone else said 3 days earlier. And that mindfulness allows us, again, to reflect and find insight about what's really going on inside of us and outside of us. It's this Buddhist concept, and this doesn't have to be Buddhist, it can be totally secular, but of right seeing, of seeing the world as it actually is, without our stories, without our judgments, without our interpretations and perceptions, which are pretty much almost always biased and limited. So, this is why it can be an incredible superpower. Or as a parent, your child does something that they're not supposed to do, and you're furious and you want to just lash out. Take a mindful moment. What's going on for you? What is this really triggering? I know sometimes when my kids did things that led to strong feelings in me of anger and upset, when I really was able to stop and skip that beat and look inside, it was fear, it was worry, it was stress, it was maybe a breach of trust that needed to be addressed. And maybe they did the thing because they were testing something and that's what was developmentally appropriate for their age. And stopping and pausing and allowing that awareness, that full awareness of external world, what's coming in through the senses, internal world, reactions, feelings, thoughts. And remember, we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, maybe more. And so there's so much going on for us to process. Mindfulness allows us to slow down, process it in healthy ways, in calm ways, and really think about how we want to respond, if at all. So, to sum up, I shared very briefly just a little bit about what mindfulness is, what the benefits of it are, and how you can use it as your superpower. There's a lot more to this, of course, which is why I want to remind you again that I have a 4-hour course that's split over 4 weeks. It's for 1 hour each Saturday, every Saturday in April. It will be on Zoom virtually, very easy for you to attend. You can attend all four, I hope, or you can attend just one if that's possible. Each one will be very different and we'll build on the last. one to some extent, but you're welcome to come to any of them. And the invitation to that will be below. And you can reach out to me if you want to attend or you have any questions about it, just let me know. So I was hoping in all transparency that this brief little introduction to mindfulness might entice you a little bit to consider coming to my course or even working with me as a coach to build mindfulness and mindfulness meditation practices into your life in a bigger way, in a deeper way, and in ways that I promise you can absolutely transform everything for you personally and or professionally. And I will be certified as a mindfulness meditation teacher very soon, but even though I'm not certified quite yet, we are encouraged and required to go out and teach in the classroom setting. For me, it'll be virtual on Zoom this first time around. I will do in-person sessions eventually as well. And also, we're encouraged to start working with folks one-on-one. So if anybody wants to do that, please let me know. Come to the course. I would love to see you there. And I hope this helps you to live a little bit more mindfully because it can bring you so much peace and joy and relief from the difficulties of life, which are very real. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.